Okay, so you see I have the image plane selected and just the faces that I want selected. And so in each of the viewports, I'm going to isolate. Was having a hard time with the selection there. We got that one, we got that one, and we got that one. So now the arms of the model are actually out of the way without having to break them off, right? So you can isolate and the selected pieces. I had a hard time getting the elements of the model to select along with the image plane, so I had to go off camera and do that little one. But yeah, this is a good way to work. So now I can actually align this a little bit. And so I'm going to go into vertex mode, turn on my soft select tool, just hit the B key, right? Off and on. That should be in your tool settings, which I can dock here. Whoops, I wanted them next to the outliner, not top of. So let's see if I can get that in here a little bit. There we go. Outliner tool settings. When you get the workspace set up the way you want, go up here and you can save your current workspace. You can name that. I just put my name 2024, hit OK. And if I need to adjust these, I can go into the attribute editor and we can turn up the alpha gain. You see at a certain point, there we go, a little lighter maybe, that's so dark. And this should work really nicely. I can go to vertex mode here. You can see that the posture got off in ZBrush. So I can grab this group here, hold down B and middle mouse drag back and forth. Use the arrow key and just push it until you're happy with, and then maybe want a little bit less there. I try and keep the edge loops all the way around when I'm doing this, trying to get like odd edge loops. Like you wouldn't want to have this selected and then maybe just um, these front three, right? Something like that. You want to try and keep them in the rows of edge loops that make sense for whatever it is that you're doing. And for this, I'm also going to turn back on my object symmetry, and now I can turn up holding the B key and then middle mouse drag to the right. I can crank up the fall off on there so it's a little bit softer fall off. I don't want to have any crimps or harsh pieces. There we go, like that. And you can reduce your selection here. I believe it was the greater than less than. So if I go control, no, if I go less than, yeah, shift and then the less than key. That will reduce the end of your selection. That's a really nice way to get a softer fall off there. So I'm using the less than key to shrink my selection and then the greater than key to grow my selection. So really helpful shortcut keys there. There we go. Looking a little bit better, and you can see from the view there that my hips were way too high for this character. So let's shrink them down. So the knees look like they're right, but not the torso. So I'm going to grab the pelvic region and just double check again that I don't have like a stray vertex like up a row. You want to keep it in the edge loop section. So that's firmly the hip section. And I can go in here to the front view and the side view both. Right, and we can crank the soft select way up. It's always a good idea, I think. You don't want it to go up to the parts that are hidden. And let's just bring that down just a little bit, or a lot actually. Looks like the hips are way too high. Where I wanted. There we go. And if I start crunching the edge loops down here too much, you just want to reduce the edge loops like as you go, right? So that's what's nice about these nice clean meshes. Like if something gets too crunched, I can always take out some edge loops and spread them around a little bit more evenly. Let's go back to the side view here. And I'm going to grab the knees. And for some reason, it's not looking as clear. Let's see, I do have, I do have the X-ray mode on. I do have the, use default material. Let's turn that on. So using the default material, now I can go in here and I can grab these vertices and see these nice even rows. See how helpful they are in adjusting this mesh, right? So I can see how much larger the feet are here. So I can bring this back a bit like that. And then I'm going to use the scale tool. I'm going to scale it out a bit. Bring it forward a bit more. Go just below the kneecap right there. Go to scale. I'm going to push that out. And this really needs to be adjusted some more. And the edge loops are a little crunched together. So I'm going to make some more adjustments here. Get that top of the foot a little bit more even. Go up here to the butt region and the thigh. Go to scale and bring that out some more. You can see I could probably bring some edge loops in here and reduce some edge loops over there. There's the kneecap. Make sure I get that full edge loop and scale that out. So it's really a slower process than maybe you'd like. But nonetheless, let me see with this one here. It should just take like half an hour to do this. It's really not that big a deal. Get it back up here, hold down B, middle mouse drag out, and maybe that part can be a bit thicker. Same thing here at the knee. Or you could just grab these back ones, go to the move tool. I'm still trying to keep everything nice and uniform. I'm not letting my edges get all crazy on me. I'm not, no zigzags, right? Try and keep everything nice and uniform. You're going to do all the anatomy still, all the muscles and parts that make the detail pop. You want to do all that in sculptings, right? So I'm just trying to get a close approximation first here in Maya where I have more finesse and control, and then we'll bring it over into ZBrush. There we go. Grab this one, bring it back, and I can see up here in the torso region, probably could use some more detail. So maybe some more edge loops back here. I'm getting close to the parts that are hidden back here in the back of the latimus and the deltoid region. Just kind of be careful. There we go. And I can bring that back some more too. The neck, I remember the neck was pretty huge. Yeah, the head needs quite a bit of adjusting. So I'll grab the head here, go to my rotate tool, and rotate a little more forward, trying to get that top of that head nice and flat, and bring that forward a little bit. It looks okay. And then grab the whole front of the face here. Again, I'm trying to get the rows of the edge loops even on my selection. There we go. And now I can drag this whole thing back. Nice and slow, little at a time. Oops, they got one row up there. So maybe we'll actually grab that whole edge loop right there. And I'm going to scale that a little flatter. See what happens. There we go. And then grab this edge loop here, double click. See a nice clean edge loop, goes all the way around. Grab the move tool, bring it back some more. Go to my scale tool and scale it a little flatter. There we go. Double click this one. If it stops at a 3 or 5 wireframe intersection, just double click. There we go, until you get all the way down and around. Turn B on and off if you need to see your edge loop clearly. Double check the top. Turn the X-ray mode on and off as needed. Let's see here, is that my default material? Wireframe. Yeah, there we go. So you can see where that is, and I can kind of straighten that one out too. It's going to get a little funny here in the eye socket, so I'm going to bring that back a little more. There we go. And maybe let go of those edges and flatten these ones out a bit more, and then turn soft select back on and bring just that one back here. So really there's a lot of move, depending on your concept, there's a lot of moving around from your basic biped mesh to whatever your own unique concept is, right? Go down here. I'll just do a little at a time, kind of bounce around the model here and making subtle adjustments as I go, using a lot of the soft select. And the image planes are so great. It's just like tracing. So if you like to trace stuff, this is a piece of cake. But you just have to go nice and slow with it. There you go. And know when to turn soft select on and off. You don't always have to have it on, for sure. Know when it makes more sense. You don't want to get any peaks and valleys. Like I just made a little dip right there in the back of the hamstring. That was bad. So I just want to make sure that this hamstring right here has actually got a nice curve and arc to it. And I can always turn that back off again. There it is right here. So this is this is an error. Should be a nice elegant curve going forward. Same right here. Easier to me. This is easier to do in Maya than in ZBrush just because I have much more control. I mean, they just got the regular movement gizmos working in ZBrush finally just the last few years. For the longest time, I had that really horrible move, rotate, scale tool that if anyone has used ZBrush long enough can remember, that was just like absolute garbage. Like why they did that, no one knows. There we go. So that's getting pretty close. And you can see from the side view it's looking better. Maybe from there's a lot more width this direction than from the front direction. That's kind of how he was designed. So it's getting close. Much better. You got the little Adam's apple here. So I'm just hitting my space bar, constantly go to the viewport that you need in order to see what you're doing and turn X-ray mode back on as needed as well. But having all four, having a little bit bigger monitor helps. That way you can kind of see what's happening here. You can pull forward the Adam's apple in the neck, but I think before that I have some more pushing to do to get that that bottom chin aligned. So let's grab this row of edge loops right here and grab these ones. Turn on my, yeah, no, I think this whole face needs to come back still. Yep. Grab that whole thing and bring it back. It gets close to this row right there. Bring it back a little bit more. And now I can grab that whole row. Continue back with it. Now I want to maybe let go of these pieces here. And then continue back a little bit more. As it gets back here, I'm watching again, watching any zigzag, any heavy duty changes in the arc flow. I think it's going to mess the model up really bad. So yeah, right in here, probably not a good place to have a dip there. The eye socket and stuff I'll worry about a little bit later. See if I can grab most of this one. And at a certain point, you might have to delete some edge loops and bring some other edge loops in. We don't know yet. This particular one. Go. And yep, all these back. And back some more. And as I'm going back, I want this edge loop to be a nice long even one. I could accelerate that a little bit with a scale. I don't want it to be a perfectly straight line, but that does help. And go back here. Same thing with this one. I can kind of align that. And if it's grid-like, it's okay. We're going to sculpt. That's where the sculpting is going to kick in, right? So that's perfectly acceptable. So I have a little bit up here at the top of the head, the cap right here. It is a straight line. I could grab this whole row right here, go to scale, and make a nice flat top like that. So we have a clean connection point for where the mushroom cap's going to sit on top of the head. Yeah, so I'm going to continue with this until I have it all aligned to my image plane. I'm going to get my other foot here. Let's go to the top view for a moment. And I'm going to go to the top view and import image plane, and I'm going to bring the foot in. So if you want to bring in little individual pieces, by all means. I'll probably have to turn the isolate off and on. No, there it is. So create your own little separate image planes as needed. You just want to make sure that they are scaled right. So I'm going to bring this around. That should be good. Go to my channel layer and type in for my rotation. And my channel layers is, let's see, giving me rotate. There we go. I'm going to type in 90 degrees even. And now I can bring this over and I want to align this with the actual length of the foot over here, right? So I recommend doing this with the hand as well, or any other features you might have. Some crazy like ears or tails, whatnot, but this should align really nicely. I'll just go into the attribute editor here. Same thing, I'll lower down the color gain and the alpha gain so they align nicely. And I want to get that toe here. I went too far. Which one's flickering? That one or that one? I think that one's too visible still. There we go. Yeah, can't quite see. There we go. So right there, so we want the square on the grid there to align the front of the toe and the back. So remember, make sure you're scaling uniformly. You don't want to get into the situation where you're doing a non-uniform scale and you're like squishing or stretching your image on accident. That can really throw you off. Make sure you're using the X and Y keys properly. That's really close. Goes, and I think that is pretty spot on. Looks like I can move it forward maybe a tiny bit here. There we go. Okay, so now I will take this over and put it on the floor right there, and I could go into the Y translate here and type in 0. I'll guarantee, oh, whoops, guess I might have rotated it different. Popped it back and go to the front viewport here. Yeah, so right here. So it's actually in translate Y, my bad. So I hit, there we go. So now it's flat on the floor. So if I bring it underneath the foot there, I know that it's in the right spot. There we go. And it's only going to be on the one side of the foot, which is perfectly fine. Bring it over. And there we go, right there. And then front and back wise, we want to align it from the side view now. So we had it aligned here for the scale, right? But now we got to get it into the right position for the foot here. So the back of the heel here needs to align to the back of the heel from the side image plane right there. So I'm going to slide that forward. Beautiful. And you can see my little grid lines up quite a bit, although the grid on this one's not perfectly aligned, but the actual drawing of the back of the heel lines up, and the drawing for the front of the toe right there lines up. It might be a tiny, tiny bit off, but then we're talking about, centimeters, so you're fine. There we go. That should be good, and that's why I said his feet are kind of big, so it might present some problems design-wise. That's just like the cap on the original. I made the caps all much smaller. That's why he's going to have swappable. I'm going to swap out the caps, see which one works. Garments, accessories for your character. You want to. Yeah. Oh yeah, front view too. That's right. Want to design and make adjustments as you go that are going to work with your animation or game design. There we go. So the toe's still just about crossing that middle plane. That's why his feet a little too close together for my comfort. This way, it's coming out this way, so I might bring it back more forward from the drawing. So it goes out, they're going to crisscross. He has to walk a little too bow-legged. So you got to decide if your proportions, like his hand's too big, just make subtle adjustments for the final 3D model and take it from there. So this one, I should also right-click, add selected object to my image planes layer, so I could turn them on and off at will. And I'm going to slowly move the toes into position according to the image plane. And once I'm done with that, I can bring him back into ZBrush. And we can start doing all of the fun anatomy that I have put together inside the drawing. All right, we'll see you on the next video.